Hey guys, Miranda Manticos here, psychic channeler for Divine Feminine Collective, spiritual teacher. I wanted to put together this little video to answer a question that some of you may be asking. And it's just something that my guides brought my attention to that could be helpful to the public. Okay. So, as some of you may know, I have a local, brick and mortar business here in New Orleans, right outside the city, in a suburb here. So, and it's really a fusion spa, wellness, spiritual business. I have, literally spa menu services like massage and lymphatic drainage and facials and things like that. I'm also like a tattoo artist, and so it really is a fusion of spa services there. But then I also have all the spiritual work that I do, and which is a combination of hypnosis, spiritual hypnosis, past life regression, psychic channeling. I channel for clients, but I also teach them how to channel their own higher self and their own spiritual team. And then I do kind of a crossover between some of my spa services and my psychic services. Like I have several therapeutic beds, like infrared and sauna and hydro beds, that I do sessions in the bed while the patient is in there or the client is in there. Does that make sense? So, for instance, a client could come and have hypnosis with me, and we can do it the traditional way, which is fine. Or they can also do it in combination with the therapeutic beds, which amplifies the frequency. Okay, so there's a lot of science to that, but there's also a lot of spirituality to it. So, but the reason why I want to talk about these things is not just for me, but for all spiritual practitioners who are attempting to help the collective. And so what I'm about to say, I feel like will be helpful to these spiritual practitioners, but also on the other side of that, you, the community who are coming to spiritual practitioners for services, this will be helpful to you as well. So hopefully this makes sense. So I want to just talk about something that I learned years ago in the aesthetic business, which is how I got started. Okay. So I'm a licensed esthetician. I've practiced medical aesthetics and traditional spa Ayurvedic aesthetics. And years ago, a doctor that I worked with, he just taught us this simple explanation, but it actually applies to many things. Okay. So we were in a class learning some techniques for laser light therapy and just skin rejuvenation, and really literally learning the settings on the machines and what layer of the skin each spectrum of light would hit, how it would affect the skin, who is a good candidate for this treatment, and all the things, right? And he gave a really simple, really good explanation for why someone would want to have a laser service done, okay? Versus a facial, versus a microderm, versus a microneedling, okay? Versus like plastic surgery, okay? And this is going to have a spiritual application, so just follow me for a second. Essentially, he said a patient can get the same results from a facial or a microderm or a microneedling or a laser treatment or a chemical peel or even really certain types of surgery, maybe not everything, but certain types of surgery, except for like reconstructive, right? But like, let's say like skin tightening procedures, okay? So maybe this is more applicable for those kind of procedures. They can get those results any way they want to get them. But what's going to happen is certain treatments are going to get you there faster, okay? So basically, let's say you have to have 6 facials to accomplish what a microdermabrasion would do in one facial, in one treatment, okay? And maybe you have to have 6 microdermabrasions to do what microneedling can do in one treatment, okay? And maybe you have to have 6 microneedling treatments to get what laser or plasma skin tightening can do in one treatment. Does that make sense? And maybe you have to do so many laser treatments to get what a facelift would give you in one treatment. And I just thought that was such a great way to explain the difference in the depth and aggressiveness and effectiveness of different types of treatments. So, in my aesthetic business, I like to use that example. I've used it many times to help a patient understand, what do you want to do with your skin? How quick do you want to get there? And what can your skin actually tolerate too? Okay, because that's a factor, right? Okay, so how do we apply this to the spiritual? Let's go. Let's go into the spiritual. When you are going through something, anything in your life, okay? So we could make this like big or little. This could be like a challenge in your life, or we could be talking about ascension and the whole collective and what it's going through right now. Why you would seek the help of a professional, okay, is when you have done what you can yourself already and you need assistance to go the next step, okay? And what kind of session you do is going to determine how fast you get there. Does that make sense? Okay. So you could spiritually awaken and remember your higher self and go through all of the sacred processes of sacred union within and just all the things on your own, connecting to your guides in nature, in your backyard every day, and you could get there. And you will get there. But when you bring in someone who works in these fields all the time with other people, you're bringing in that collective wisdom, okay? And your higher self has this wisdom, but if you haven't fully accessed it, sometimes you need a little nudge, okay? And this is where, if you looked at the universe as this like, let's call it a sort of an opening or blossoming lotus flower, okay? There are so many layers of guidance being given to us right now, from many, many different frequencies and layers of light. And all of humanity is considered, important, sacred, and is being guided on some level everywhere, okay? You yourself, though, may be in a specific part of your spiritual awakening where someone else is in a different aspect of it. And this can go millions of different ways, right? But at the end of the day, the goal is to get to your higher self, to peel back the layers of what is not you and to truly find yourself, okay? And sometimes having a spiritual session, whether it's energy clearing, hypnosis, channeling, sound tuning, assisted meditation, yoga, any of these things can help you get there. And sometimes we do need assistance, right? For that matter, like even when I'm coaching someone privately, just your diet alone, what you consume, food and beverage wise, can also awaken all your endocrine system, your pineal gland, which also has a great, amazing effect on the biology of your body. So there's always physical benefits to awakening spiritually. Just remember that. So if you're on a healing journey, by the way, if you're looking to heal the body, whether you know it or not, you're on a spiritual journey. And ultimately healing the body is going to go back to awakening the soul, okay? And remembering the soul. So that's where my business is kind of a fusion business, because they both connect, right? If I'm working on someone's lymphatic system and I'm seeing that they have all these areas that are congested or not flowing, or the body's entangled in the fascia, well, that's spiritual and emotional. And they're kind of all one the same. So whatever way you're looking to address your spiritual need, just know there's a way to do it through holistic nutrition. There's a way to do it through body treatment, right? Like massage, lymphatic drainage, and energy movement is spiritually awakening to you. And there's also a way to do it just psychically and connecting to the higher self, and using meditation, using prayer, using communication with your spirit team, okay? But in all those aspects, you may need guidance because you may not know what to do. And the reason for that is our culture was programmed to make you forget. So on some level, everyone knows what to do. They just forgot. They were disconnected from their true self and forgot. Okay? A spiritual practitioner such as myself or someone that you may want to do a session with, it doesn't have to be me, but like say you're considering this particular practitioner because something about them resonates with you. Okay. Well, that's your intuition telling you, do it. Okay. And don't fear, just go. Because you're going to learn something from them. You're going to experience their wisdom. They're going to experience your wisdom. It can be a beautiful exchange, right? And it can accelerate your journey, okay? And I do think that matters because, especially if you're going through healing, if you're going through any kind of physical healing, it could be critical for you to learn or receive this information, okay? On how to care for yourself holistically, physically, and spiritually. But even if you're sound in health, which is amazing, and you just know that there's something there you're supposed to be doing or knowing or remembering, but you just can't quite get it, this is where bringing in a practitioner to help you can accelerate it, okay? So, and I like to say, go with what you feel, right? Like go trust your intuition. If you find someone and you're scrolling social media and you're like, I like that person. I like them. There's something about them, right? Or, however this comes to you, just trust. And, I could probably do a whole video on trust because that's one of the major things I think is broken in our society because there have been so many lies and so much deceit and so much entanglement and so much confusion that when you start peeling back those layers and you realize how deep the corruption goes, okay, it can be a challenge to trust, okay? But if you go deeper and really listen to what I'm saying, I'm asking you to trust yourself. And this is something you can do. Okay? So it's not really necessarily about anybody else or anything outside of you. If you feel you need something, then trust that you need it. Okay? And you will eventually also grow beyond that point, and that point, and that point, and that point. Okay? Each time you grow to a new level of understanding of yourself, you may also be leaving behind an old understanding of yourself. And that's okay. This is where letting go is so important and just being okay with it. Be okay with letting go. And when you come to that place of just allowing your intuition to lead, you really begin to flow. And you will notice that you just stop doing things you don't want to do. And you just follow the feeling. And I think it's amazing and very liberating. And it is a fast track to the higher self. So just in summary, you can do all of this on your own with your spirit team, just working on yourself. But if you feel stuck or you feel there's something in your way, it could be even just a belief system, you guys. That's what practitioners are for. We're just here to get you to that next little boom. Okay, here you go. Boom. Keep going. And that's no different than your angelic team of guides who are also doing the same thing. In fact, sometimes I feel like that's what practitioners are. They're an aspect of your team of guidance manifesting to you when you need it. Does that make sense? So just trust it. See what you can find out. And if you get a feeling to not do something or to avoid something, you could trust that too, because you have that inner guidance. This is why it's super, super important to be present, to actually begin to embrace being human and not hate it, because it's hard sometimes. But that's because things are not being done here the way they were supposed to be. But that's what we're here for, right? To channel that love and embody it and be it. So this is why I do feel in my heart and soul spiritual remembrance is the most important work on this planet. Reconnecting to her, reconnecting to Mother Gaia, reconnecting to all the sacred mothers and the fathers, okay? And just remembering who we are, why we came here, and what our purpose is. So if you need help with that, that's what we're here for, okay? And trust your intuition on who it is that you're supposed to work with and what's going to be most helpful to you. And just go for it, guys, okay? I love you all. I hope you're outside in nature. I hope you're watching the stars, watching the sky, connecting with the trees and all the little animals, and speaking to the fairies. And yeah, that's a very simple, easy way you can start to wake up. Okay. So go outside, get connected to Mother Earth. She loves you. And she is a master at all of this. So just remember that. Such an incredible guide. And yeah, do what's feeling right to you. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Okay. I love you.